ones I buy on Amazon, and it's like just fun. But this I've not opened, as I bought it when I was 11 years old. 89
Right.
Bowman. Bowman was the old card maker that came back in 89 because it was a big deal and everybody was making cards. So I'm opening the cards. Actually, how many kids do you have now? Because I didn't.
Like 7.
How do you do this?
7 and 5 grandkids.
That is amazing.
Drew, Bryn, Bailey, Shane, Brock, Bliss, and Bria, and then Andrew, Brooklyn, Addison, Maddox, and Mabry are our 5 grandkids.
Did you name a kid after John Mabry?
No. In fact, we have a Maddox and a Mabry, my daughter and her husband, and they're like, they didn't even think about that. We have a Brock, and people. He was our adopted son. He's our adopted son from Russia, and they're like, oh, you named him after Lou Brock. I'm like, no, my wife just liked the name Brock. So Lou's a great guy. Love him. One of my favorites from before my generation, but now it's just they like the name. That's it.
How many you've adopted? 2 or 3?
3.
Wow.
1 from the Ukraine and 2 from Russia.
So how old's the oldest and how old's the youngest right now?
31 and 10.
Okay, that's not terrible. I thought maybe you were going back to where you have to start doing diapers.
We've been married 33 years, and yeah.
Okay, so I have the gum. I'm not going to eat any gum, but
Love it, yeah. I'm sure that's good. That's still good.
Oh, my goodness, first card. I love it. I'm going to show it to the camera over here
there it
first.
is. Yeah, I know that one.
Do you know
it's
this?
It's a little bit, oh.
Who'd you think it was?
Okay, good. I thought it was me, but yeah, good.
Well, you might be in there, but that's Big Mac, Mark McGwire, number 197.
Big Mac, yeah, I can see that. That's nice.
He was big back. He had 49 home runs as a rookie, so it wasn't like he did this.
People forget that. I mean, it's, crazy.
Great Met. This guy, when I was a kid, I used to try to throw. I would always mimic motions, and he was like 19 and 3. It's David Cohn.
Yeah.
Any David Cohn stories? He was filthy.
I faced him when he was with the Mets for sure, and he was so tough. And then Game 5 in the division series, he started for the Yankees. I started for the Mariners, and I tell people all the time, it was an epic game. He was pitching. We were down 4-2 in the 8th inning, and Joe Torre, it was Buck Showalter at the time, left him in the game. He threw over 150 pitches, and he was trying to get to his closer, and he didn't want to put in the setup guy. Guess who that was?
I was going to say Graham Lloyd, but no, hold on. No, Mariano Rivera.
Right. Jeter was their backup shortstop.
Wetland.
Mariano Rivera was going to be their closer next year, but he would not put him in. He was warmed up, ready to go, and we end up winning that game. Rivera threw in that game and threw well, but he would not put him in the 8th inning, and we tied it up. But it's crazy. Cohn started that game and was just phenomenal. Great pitcher.
That one's been on a lot during this quarantine. I've sat and watched it because I know people talk about it a lot. It is great. The feeling in that dome. I don't remember watching it. It feels like to me it's got to be. You pitched in a lot of playoff games. This feels like this has to be the one because it's Game 5.
It was shaking. Place, literally, the Kingdom was shaking. My wife was there. She was pregnant with our 4th, and my oldest son Drew was there. He was 8 at the time, and it was just electric. The Mariners got to the playoffs, and it really got Safeco Field built. There was a referendum on that, and they were like, if you guys make the playoffs, they're going to get a new stadium, and so Seattle was just on fire, and that team, I remember Jay Buhner telling me once I got there, he said, if you keep our team within 6 runs in the first 5 innings, we'll win. Just don't give up like 12 runs in the first 3 innings. And I'm like, Jay, I haven't gotten 6 runs in a game in like 5 years. The games I'm pitching, they're like 2-1. If I got 3 runs, I was ecstatic. He's like, just keep us to within 6. And in that stadium, with those fans and the excitement, it was just electric. And we were really, really good at home.
Yeah, and you always see the end of that game and the big play at the end, but to sit back and kind of watch it as it develops, see you pitching it, as you said, David Cohn just kind of throwing everything on the line. Is it the biggest game you ever pitched in? Because it's a clincher game.
Yeah, it was the clincher, and I came into the clincher in Game 7, and as we talked about, and with the Cardinals and the Braves, but being down 6-0, it wasn't like it was the clincher feeling. But starting that game and the excitement, and I actually threw pretty well. I'd never been in that. I pitched game 2 in Yankee Stadium that went 17 innings. And we were actually down 0-2 in that series and won Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home. And that environment inside 70,000 people was just crazy. So
you're taking credit for Safeco being built, I'm going to say.
I was part of that for sure. I didn't pitch great all the time, but we were 9-2 in my starts in the regular season to finish the season, and I pitched well in Yankee Stadium. We lost late in the game and pitched fairly well through 6 1/3, I think, and we were down, but had a chance to win and ended up winning late.
Okay, I'm going to run through some more cards, but I have another question for you. This is Rance Mullenix, a wonderful player from the Toronto Blue Jays, but
never faced him.
That is a good-looking guy.
I know you probably won't see my card in there.
I hope
those cards were a little bit bigger, right, than a normal card. I know mine was, but that's the only card, and I don't have any reason. I have no idea why. It is bigger, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, that's just a fun fact for the listeners. But I signed that card Andrew. Mine says Andrew Bennis on the front, which I have no idea why.
Oh, on the Bowman one. Oh, so tell me about
Bowman.
You actually signed it and then they printed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
You see, those are all signed, right?
Yeah, but here's something I didn't realize because I had the back. I had them flipped, so I was seeing the back. I didn't realize their names really are not on. You have to really know who Glen Davis is there.
Yeah.
Who I have. Yeah. He was a power hitter of the 80s. Here's another
hitter.
Dave Valley.
Faced him.
Did you get to play with Dave Valley? I don't think he was there anymore by 95.
He was gone.
He's people love Dave Valley whenever you talk.
Well, back in the day, I mean, before '96, there was no interleague. It was called the World Series, so that was the interleague, and so we'd play Seattle in some of the American League teams in spring training, but that was it. We didn't see these guys, and so it was a big jump to move to the American League. Big jump.
By the way, this looks like a glamour shot for Dave Valley. I've seen him.
Yeah, that was.
He's got kind of your hairdo these days. I don't think he ever looked like that.
Yeah.
I would not know who that is if I didn't have the back of the card. That's 1989 Bowman. Gerald Young.
Gerald Young. Yeah, we played together in San Diego.
You should know who that is.
I'm 53. I'm almost 53, and my eyes are not great.
Okay, here's one. I don't know who this is, and I cannot read the name. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this person. This is Jeff Sellers from the Reds. Do you know him? I wanted to ask
because I didn't have to get him out.
You did mention your Padre. I wanted to ask, what was it like to pitch on a team that had 101 losses? What is it like every day going out thinking it's probably not going to work offensively for us?
Yeah, my first 6 years in the league, Tom Glavine was with Atlanta, and we were one quality start difference. He had one more quality start, and in 6 years, he was in the top 10. Now, they had good teams in Atlanta, not when he got there, but in the 90s. In 6 years, how many wins do you think he had more than I did? He was in the top 10% in run support. I was always in the bottom 10%. I had the worst run support over those 6 years. What did that equate to in 6 years for the number of wins?
Let me stop you there, Andy, because wins don't matter. But I would say 50-5-0.
Really? Okay, so it was 36 wins. So 6 wins a year. So I'm 14-13, 15-15. I'm losing 15 games with a 3 ERA, 3.0 ERA. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to pitch like that. So when I got to Seattle, and they're like, "Man, just get us through 6 innings. We'll have 10 runs for you. We're gonna score." So that was quite a. I forgot the question you asked, but
tough
it was
pitching.
quite a difference.
Yeah, pitching with.
I mean, a run support is. I remember talking to Dennis Martinez, El Presidente, right? I'm like, dude, you never get runs. You're in Montreal. He goes, listen, if we get 2. I'm happy. 3, I can't stand it. It's like, I know if I give up 1 or 2, I might have a chance to win. 2 or more, I'm going to lose. But I told you I didn't get any run support. I won one game in 6 years in San Diego. One where I gave up more than 3 runs. I won one game where I gave up 4. And you're going to run into a game where you give up 5 or 6 and the team scores 12, not one time in 6 years. So it's tough. You just got to pitch to get guys out, not worry about the score, and that's easier said than done.
Yeah, 2 quick stories. Jeff Suppan always says, "Oh, people come up to me all the time. What has changed? What's turned around?" He said, "Nothing. I've done nothing different. I've got Edgar Renteria and Jim Edmonds and Matheny and Tony Womack rolling. Yeah. Nothing I have done has changed from where I pitched in Pittsburgh to Kansas City, except those people behind me. I've done nothing different." Dennis Martinez should be in the Hall of Fame. I was watching some old stuff, and then I get down the YouTube hole. I mean, the man pitched for 20 years. He had 18 complete games one season. As a Cardinal fan with the Expos, I never remember us beating him. It looks like he was like 3-7, but his ERA was 2, so he never got run support, like you said.
He was really, really good
for a long time. Pitched till he was 45, and
he was a pitching coach in the Cardinal organization for a while. He was my son's pitching coach one year down in Palm Beach, and just a wealth of knowledge. That guy, he didn't throw hard. He could sink it, cut it, curveball, change up any pitch, any time, and he could flat out compete.
Well, he had this crazy delivery. I don't know how, and he stayed healthy. There's not one time that he didn't get more than 25. I mean, he's a guy that I think in this
all
new
arm angles. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I had to face him a lot. We'd match up a lot, and man, you just didn't know what was coming. I mean, it was brutal. I don't know how guys hit him because he was never. Nothing was ever the same with him, and he just got guys out.
So I know I told you to do the 30 minutes. I apologize, but I'm enjoying talking baseball and looking at baseball cards. Steve Sachs as a Yankee. Nice, fun guy. Had some throwing issues. Yeah. We'll move on. Again, this is another one. I can read a little bit, but that's Pete O'Brien.
Yeah.
It's got
I might have faced him. He was more of an American League guy.
Okay, we got a guy with a mustache here.
Oh, former teammate. That's Matt Dogmatic. Hey, Mike and I pitched together for a couple years in San Diego, and his wife actually did some sold jewelry on the side, and was super nice. We get to see them here in St. Louis, and I bought a few things from her because my wife had to have them when we were in San Diego, right? And as a young wife of a major league pitcher, so really cool family. But he and I pitched together, and he's a really good golfer, fun to play with. And
he had a long career. Again, one of those things where you start looking at YouTube, you're like, man, this guy pitched a lot.
If you look at the back of his baseball card, you need a bigger card. That dude, if you just read through, pitched, released, signed, was here, AAA, big leagues, got released again, he played for a ton of different teams, and his journey was, that doesn't even start to tell when people cut him loose it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the back of this card. All right, this is a former, I believe, first-round draft choice, same year as you maybe, or the next year. John Eriks.
John Eriks. So, wasn't he in the McGwire trade?
No,
that was Ludwig.
Ludwig and T.J. Matthews, and I can never remember the third person. Yeah. Last one, Curtis Wilkerson, former Cub, little guy. I remember him on that 89 Cubs team.
Yeah, a little bit.
So that was fun. Well, those are all the cards of the Bowman.
In the pack.
No, we got.
For you.
Yeah, we got that again in the 90 Fleer, and here you are in the brown Padre jersey. I mean to ask this every time I have a former player. What happens to these jerseys? Do you get to take them with you? And can I have one? Please, just give me one of these brown.
Okay, so first of all, I never got to play in those mustard tops, which I would have loved to. We didn't really have throwback games when I was there. It would have been super fun to play in the mustard-colored tops. I would buy like a dozen jerseys every year, like literally buy them. I'd pay for them, and when I was in St. Louis, I'd have Buddy Bates order me 12 jerseys. They obviously would have a couple made up for me, but what I would do is I would pitch in a game, and it's not like I'm going to give somebody. If somebody asked me for something for charity or whatever, it's not a ball's fine, but it wasn't like I could sign a bat or something for him. So what I would do is I'd pitch, I'd get it cleaned, and then I'd sign it and give it away. And, every other game or so, every third game, I would have a jersey that if somebody asked me, it was game worn, and I'd sign it and give it away. So I do have a few left from the different, You have obviously,
I'll pay you $500 right now.
Probably have one of those. I have a blue one for sure. I have
Don't want that one.
when they changed to navy, but it might be somewhere in a closet at my house. You never know.
So I can come look
in a box.
Can I come? What if I find it? Can I just come over and look through your?
Sure.
I want that jersey. I just want to.
I actually have. I do have that jersey. I have one of those jerseys that was signed by the National League All-Star team, and it's in a shadow box in the living room in the basement, along with a shadow box of from the Olympic Games, and then I have a framed jersey from all the teams. I think the Padre jersey was maybe my home jersey, or when we turned to blue, but that jersey was signed by a lot of great players from the '93 All-Star Game. So I do have one of those, but probably not going to give that one up to you.
No, I don't want that. I want the brown, and I want it to be Eric Schau.
Eric, win, place, or Schau, right?
Rest in peace, but Eric Schau was one of my favorite. He seemed like a nut job.
Well, that jersey from that card is the one that's in my shadow box. That's, I think, the only one I have, yeah.
Okay, well.
So I'm probably not going to get that one.
Sorry, well.
Unless you steal it, which, It
doesn't have to be yours, but yeah, I figured you're the one person I know well enough to say, Andy, give me that brown Padre jersey. I love those. Yeah. It's my favorite jersey. I've kept you too long. We had fun. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too. This was always fun. We'll catch up maybe again down the road. But so you got the batting cages are open, right? Tell people how they can.
No doubt, yeah.
Tell people how they can come or what's going on at the batting cage.
I'm going to go work on my hitting and pitching. Maybe I'll try to make a comeback.
All right, that's Andy Bennison. Here's the pitch. That's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.